I've been looking at the stack of archives we pulled for today, and I realized we need to totally change our approach.
Yeah, we usually organize these deep dives chronologically, right?
Exactly. But this collection doesn't fit a timeline at all. It's more of a map.
We are hopping continents to uncover the hidden secrets of our planet.
It really is a spatial puzzle. Less of a history lesson and more of a global expedition to see how the planet actually works in different locations.
So that's the mission for you today. We're going to extract the most mind-blowing findings from Africa to Antarctica, organized purely by location. And we have to start with the environment that covers most of that map, even though we rarely see it. The deep ocean.
Right, so looking at the archives, Dive to the Edge of Creation and Born of Fire, they describe a world that honestly shouldn't exist. 1.5 miles down at these thermal vents.
Teeming with life, which completely upended the old assumption that everything needed sunlight to survive.
Photosynthesis was the only game in town until they found these ecosystems surviving on chemicals. Right, chemosynthesis. And the reason those vents are there brings us back to high school science, but maybe a bit more intense. Plate tectonics. Basically, the Earth's shell isn't one solid piece.
No, it's more like a cracked eggshell or a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Right, and these puzzle pieces or plates drift on this hot, gooey rock below. When they crash into each other or pull apart, they create volcanoes or earthquakes, and in this case, those deep sea thermal vents.
They're literally converting toxic chemicals from the Earth's gut into energy. It's an incredible display of adaptation.
Speaking of adaptation, let's hop up to dry land, Africa. We have the classic Leakey archive, Dr. Leakey and the Dawn of Man.
Which proved mankind's African origins, pinning Tanzania as the biological starting line for humanity.
But then you look at the other African source survivors of the Skeleton Coast and you see adaptation in a much more hostile, modern setup.
The Namib Desert, that blew my mind. Elephants surviving in a place that looks like Mars.
They trek up to 50 miles across these scorching sands just to reach the coast for moisture.
It shows nature's extreme resilience. The geography literally forces them to move or die.
Well, if we cross the map over to Asia, specifically the Zhongar Basin in China, we find a spot where moving just wasn't an option, the Dino Death Trap Archive.
Yeah, this is a grim one. They found a massive pit of dinosaurs, including ancestors of the T-Rex, stacked right on top of one another.
Which wasn't a mass extinction event, right? It was a specific trap.
Exactly, a volcanic mud pit. One animal gets stuck in the mire, attracts a predator who gets stuck, and so on. They were preserved instantly layer by layer.
A literal vertical column of history. But China also gives us this snapshot of something deliberately buried, the China's Ghost Army Archive.
The Terracotta Warriors in the tomb of China's first Qin dynasty ruler.
I always thought those were generic, mass-produced statues.
That is the big misconception. There are 8,000 of them, and they are not clones. They were created with unique faces,
Every single one.
different facial hair, ear shapes, expressions. It's an incredible preservation of humanity from over 2,000 years ago.
Well, for our final stop, we have preservation through physics. We are heading south to Antarctica and the story of Shackleton's endurance.
The 1915 shipwreck that was finally located in 2024. And it highlights such a crazy story of human resilience where 27 crew members survived the crushing ice.
But the ship itself, which sank 10,000 feet down, looks like it sank yesterday.
Because the water is so cold and lacks those wood-eating worms, it's perfectly frozen in time.
So we've gone from thermal vents to desert, elephants, and frozen ships. But I want to leave you with a scenario from the Omniverse X source that totally flips the map. We take the Earth's rotation for granted, but what if it stopped?
The physics of a stationary Earth are terrifying. The centrifugal force disappears, so the oceans and atmosphere would actually migrate to the poles.
Leaving this massive equatorial supercontinent with completely unbreathable air.
Right, life would only be possible in this twilight terminator zone, right between the freezing dark and the scorching light.
Makes you wonder if we would survive that. Something for you to think about next time you look at a globe. Keep exploring the map.